Stop being so disturbingly sexualized.
Hello, welcome to episode 79 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton. With me, as always, Chet Roivas.
Ahoy!
So you know the deal. You surely know the deal by now. 2 top 10 lists going from 10 to 1. 10 being the game we played the least this week. 1 being the game we played the most. That's right, innit? Yep. Chet, let's do this thing.
Okay. All right, okay. My number 10 is SingStar on the PlayStation 3.
Poor thing.
Yeah, I didn't play the actual game. I'm pretty sure I heard it on Joypod, that it was hilarious to just go onto SingStar, the one that's now on every PS3 dashboard, and watch the community videos. I watched quite a few of them, and none of them were amusing. It's just people, very, very low-res videos of people playing SingStar in their living rooms. There was one, the most highly rated clip was the most interesting, but it was rubbish. It was 25 seconds of a guy singing a song on SingStar. In the background, his child, a small baby of a toddler, I'd say, was crawling around the back, along the back of the sofa, completely oblivious to him. And as he was walking, I was like, oh, this must be really highly rated because that baby falls down. I was watching it, and like the suspense, and I swear to God, it was like the end of Inception. There was a little bit of a wobble, and then it ended. That was it, done.
Oh, no.
I was gutted. But honestly, I'd had that recommended to me as just a thing to do, going on there and look at the community videos. I don't recommend it.
All right. I never thought of doing it, and I never will do it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't sing?
I don't have a microphone anymore, no.
Shame.
Otherwise, I would have done. I'd been right in there.
Yeah, too right. My number 10 is a game called Super Hot, which I meant to play more of and then completely forgot because I'm the worst person. So I'm pretty sure it's called Super Hot. It's definitely called Super Hot.
Yeah.
This is a free game. Oh, have you played this?
Yeah, it's on my list, yeah.
All right. So I'll go through it quickly. It's a free game, browser-based shooter, basically, done in really kind of stark graphic style. Everything's really white, and the point of it, I only played a little bit of it, and I thought, right, I'm going to go back to that, and then I completely forgot, and I didn't have enough time. Anyway, you'll probably be better at explaining it than me, but from what I gathered, it was a shooter where time only moves when you move.
Yeah.
So you shoot a guy, and you have to move to make the bullet move towards them, or they shoot you, and you can kind of move out the way of the bullet, and as you move, time moves, and it was all really stylish, and I thought, this is cool, and I want to go back to it, and I forgot. So yeah, I'm sure you'll talk about it later. I don't have anything more to say. I'm the worst.
Okay, well, I'll only touch upon it briefly, but yeah, I'll speak about it in a minute.
All right.
Okay, well, my number 9 is Animal Crossing New Leaf on the Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, you went back to it. I heard you talk about it with Dave last week.
Yeah, I still don't understand it. I admire it, and I appreciate I appreciate it. I don't really understand it as a game. I think it tends to polarize people more so than anything else I can think of, because there are some people for whom it's just like, I don't get this. I logged in as my girlfriend on her account because because it was the same 3DS. We were sharing the same city, and she was the mayor and I wasn't. I logged in as her, and my house was there, but there was no mention of me being there. I went and spoke to people, and they didn't know why. There was no mention of me at all. So I just thought, that's a bit wank. At that moment, my girlfriend came in, and I said, "Oh, you've got a fishing rod and a spade. What's all that stuff for?" And she was just like, "It's boring. Don't bother." I was like, "Oh." Okay. Does it adapt to local weather? Because when she came in, she was soaking wet, and like it was raining in the game, and I was like, is that a coincidence, or does it actually?
I have no idea.
Okay, that would be cool. I like the way there was some sign I saw, like, come here at 7 o'clock on the dot for some fireworks, and I was like, oh, that's quite nice. Make arrangements to go and look at fireworks. I suppose I don't understand the game. I really don't. It's charming as can be, but don't understand it.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on it. I've still got it sitting on my 3DS. I haven't gone back to it. I enjoyed everything that I played. I didn't really understand it myself, but I just liked it when people moved into my town, the weird animals with weird names, and then you just go and talk to them and they say weird things. That kept me entertained for quite a long time. I hear people talking about the price of turnips and bells, and they need to up their economy. I know I'll never get that involved because there's a part of my brain which tells me off whenever I start getting involved in something that pointless. But that's not to say that they shouldn't. I'm glad that they're enjoying it. But I just found it charming. But I think you've come into it in a weird way as well, going into someone else's world, not as the mayor, whereas I've done it sort of as intended, I think.
But the thing is, they never said. I mean, because I only know that you're supposed to be the mayor because you've told me, other people have told me. But even when I was in her town, there was no mention of her as a character, or like go and see the mayor, or like there was an opportunity to write a letter to her, or I could write a letter from her account to mine, and it never got to live. I don't know. It's way too. It's not for me.
Yeah, I kind of don't think it's for me either, really. But I'm glad I tried it, and I might get back to it one day.
Maybe I will as well. Hey, who knows?
Yeah. All right. My number 9 is a game I just played briefly just before I went off on holiday, which is where I was, or I wasn't on the podcast last week. And why my list this week is a lot of handheld games, as we'll find out. Anyway, my number 9 isn't a handheld game. It's Rock Band Blitz. I've just played it very briefly. I like to do a few songs every week, as we do. I normally don't talk about it, but this one, I started doing one song. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I got about halfway through it and I looked at the little bar on the right and I was ahead of your score. And that never, ever happens. I'm normally miles behind your score. Even though I get 5 gold stars on a lot of tracks, and I think I'm pretty good, I'm normally always behind your score. But this time, I was ahead. And I had to pause it because my boy was kicking off. And then that all happened. And then he did a shit. And then we had to go. And I was just like, I was genuinely gutted because I thought I will never know. I will never know if I was going to beat your score. So I'm going to try again, probably tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what the song is because it's probably one that you've not actually got a very good score on. You'll just go back and get some completely untouchable score that I'll never be able to get near. But yeah, the dream just hung tantalisingly in the balance for a minute and then was yanked away from me by Excrement.
Man, that must be some terrible song from Rock Band 2 or something that I've played once and never went back to because, without taking the piss. I don't know what song you'd... Okay, well, please.
From full of shit to full of shit.
But by all means, please. Nothing would make me happier than to have another score to try and beat.
You sound like the bad guy in an 80s film.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't want to speak about Rock Band Blitz, but I will very briefly in a bit. Okay, well, my number 8 is a game called Contract: Void Justice on the Xbox 360. It's an XSplit game, yeah. It has an absolutely fantastic opening. It's all sort of it looks like it's hand painted in acrylics, and it's like the start of an 80s sci-fi movie. You're this hooded bounty hunter. You come in on a spaceship. And it comes down, and you've got this guy in your company. You're basically a bounty hunter, and you've got this prisoner. You're delivering him to prison. And hilariously, there's a tannoy announcement going, "This prisoner is proud of its record of never having anyone escape from it." And the lights go out, and the guards that are waiting to receive the prisoner, bang, 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 and then he's dead. And then your hooded bounty hunter whips out a samurai sword and a gun, and then you're off. And I was just like, "You had me at hello. This is a fucking great way to open a game." Unfortunately, it's a top-down gauntlet-style shooter with a little bit of loot. And it just feels a little bit half-baked. There's not many enemies on screen. You're kind of traipsing around the most bland world in the world. It's all very grey and dull, and the outlines are like that yellow ticker tape. It looks like they've taken pre-made assets and built the game with that.
Right.
For some reason, everybody takes an age to kill. I mean, like, you're just firing bullets at it for like up to 10, 15 seconds, and then going to it again, and then going to it again. Whenever anything potentially interesting happens, I mean, there's this weird obsession with numbers. Like, this prison's on loads of floors, and each floor has a statistic about how many guards to prisoners there are. Like, it's 21% guards, and then sort of 79% prisoners. But the guards attack you as well, and I think you're supposed to kill both. It's not very well explained. There's a great ambient soundtrack, which is really nice. But it's just monotonous, repetitive, dull. The most interesting thing that happened to me is that I realised you meet this guy who's just standing in the middle of a room who can sell you stuff, guns and upgrades or whatever. You can try and shoot him, and then he'll shoot you back, and he normally wins. So that's exciting, I suppose. It's a shame. It starts so well that it's just another game that I've played 3,000 of on the XSplit service. It's a shame. It's really thought it was going to be great, and it's just another game I've played before.
That's a shame because that does sound. It sounded quite good from the beginning. It sounded like a mix between the beginning of that first Riddick game and then, or if there was only one Riddick game, there was I don't know.
There was two.
And Yeah, there was two, and some like 1992 scrolling platform game.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish these Xbig developers weren't so eager for everything to be the top-down or first-person. There's so many more interesting things to do, and they're not doing them at the moment. Yeah, and with games like that, the competition's so stiff. There are genuinely great Xbig games that are top-down sort of gauntlet stuff. This one doesn't even have 4-player co-op. It's only 2-player local, but shame. Yeah, could have been great.
What was it called again?
Contract Void Justice.
Okay, you could tell me that a million times. I'd never remember it.
I know.
Okay, my number 8 is Gravity Rush on PlayStation Vita. Holiday PlayStation Vita. You can see where this list is going. I just thought, okay, I'll give it one more chance, and I just don't really dig it, man. It's a game that just never really worked for me. I know it did really well in some of the reviews, and I can't really judge it properly because I haven't played it enough still, even though I've tried it about 5 different times and probably only about 3 hours in. And yeah, going back to it, it's kind of a really confusing and disorientating game at the best of times, because obviously you can't really manipulate gravity, but you can kind of detach yourself from gravity and then fire yourself at different parts of the environment and end up like on walls or on the ceiling and stuff like that. And it's all very cool. The art style's cool. It has these cool like graphic panels, like graphic novel panels between the levels, which you can move by like tilting the Vita and touching the rear touchpad and stuff. And everything about it's really stylish, but it's just not good enough for me to grab me. The fundamental mechanic of like detaching yourself from gravity doesn't do enough for me, and I'm prone to kind of disorientation at the best of times, having no sense of direction and dizziness, so it doesn't really gel with me in that way. And as I'll talk about later, it just kind of, I thought the Vita was going to be all about games like this, not necessarily weird gravity-based games, but, you know, like console games.
Yeah.
But as I'll talk about later, it's the whole machine seems to have changed. But yeah, Gravity Rush, I ended up deleting it from my memory card because I didn't have enough space. And I feel bad because, you know, it's clearly a project that's been made with a hell of a lot of love. It's very polished. I can see it's a good game. And I'm not in a position to really criticise it because I haven't played it enough. It's just simply not grabbed me, and there's so little time.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I know almost nothing about Gravity Rush, but isn't it really highly regarded as?
Yeah, I mean, it got a 9 on Eurogamer. It's got good review scores all over the place. Like I said, I'm not really in a position to even disagree with that stuff. If you don't know what it is, you play as a girl. I've forgotten her name because I started the game months ago and I couldn't remember it from playing it this little session this time. Who finds out, or already had the ability, like I say, to basically sort of float up in the air and then aim at something else and then fire herself at that. She has a cat, and stuff happens in the game. Like, I can't fucking remember. But everything about it is just really likeable. It's well written in that it doesn't have a lot of words to it, but everything's kind of snappy and well written. As that way seems to be the trend for Japanese games being translated these days. I don't know if it's that same team that do a lot of the Nintendo stuff or not. I don't know, but yeah, just not enough for me.
All right. Is it a box product or is it download?
I'm pretty sure it is a box product, but everything's basically download now on Vita anyway, and it's been on PS Plus forever, so I think it still is on there. It's always been on PS Plus, so I could always get it again, but I think when you delete something off your Vita, you also delete your save, so yeah, I'm not going to start it again.
Yeah, fuck that.
I feel bad. I still feel bad, though, so that does say that the game must be quite good.
Yeah, right, okay. All right, fair enough. Well, my number 7 is the aforementioned Superhot, which incidentally can be found at www.superhotgame.com, and I recommend it very highly. It's, as you explained, did you know it came out of, there's this new, I think it's fairly new, and a 7-day game jam called 7D FPS.
Is that what that 7D FPS thing? I thought they were saying it was a 7-dimensional FPS game.
Oh, right. No, it's 7-day FPS. It's like a game jam, and they had... I don't know whether Superhot won prizes, but it's won prizes elsewhere. and I've seen that it's got awards for stuff. And there is Polygon posted a video of all of the 7D FPS entrants in one clip with a guy playing them, and it's really fucking interesting because there's some really, really wacky stuff on there. But yeah, this is exactly what you said. You're moving through what looks like, if you're old enough to remember the Soft Mints advert with Mr. Soft, it looks like that.
My boy.
And there's red silhouette people, and time only moves when you move. And I don't think this, because it's basically a demo, it's just a tech experiment. It lasts 5 levels or so, and there's not a great amount to it. It's more about the sort of possibilities that are suggested. So, for example, it takes a little while to get your head around as well. For something that's quite easily explained, I was really like, So, for example, there was one bit where a bullet was in midair, very, very close to my face, and I thought, unless I pick the right direction to move, that's going to hit me square in the head. And there are bits where there's one bit in particular where there's 3 guys standing at the corner just rapid firing bullets at you. And it's when you sort of move, and then you don't stop time, you just stop moving, and then you have to sort of maneuver around. I would just if you have the internet and you have a browser that's got Flash on it, you have to play it. Superhotgame.com. I thought it was really, really. It suggests that there's something very, very interesting to come out of that concept, and the way the narrative goes at the end in the final level, it kind of suggests that a story. I mean, I think they're developing it. They're like getting ready to sort of make a proper game of it, because this is just a test, but. The possibilities are really, really quite intriguing. And the fact it's quite stealthy, you only have a few bullets per gun, and once they're out, you have to go and take another one. It's just great. Superhotgame.com. It's a browser game. Go and play it.
How long did it take you to play the whole thing?
I played it twice, so one time probably 5 minutes. If you're not a first, but it's quite difficult. So it's.
I really should have just stayed with it, but I had to go and do something else, and I forgot.
Yeah, it's like five levels. There's 3 guys in the first level, 3 guys in the 5 guys. But you can smash it if you're a shooter person. But if you're not, I still think if you're not a first-person shooter player, by and large, still have a look. Superhotgame.com. Just go and have a look. Easy.
Yeah, easy. My number 7 is FIFA 14, the demo. The demo of FIFA 14.
Have you played the PES demo?
Yes.
Oh, you played both? Okay, they're both on my list. Let's bundle them together in a minute.
All right. So, wait. My PES is after this.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, let's... fuck it, let's just do it now.
All right. So, yeah, FIFA 14... Very, very, very similar to FIFA 13, I found, from what I've played so far. It looks almost identical to the point where it really feels like... I mean, I've only played a few games on the demo, but it feels like they're kind of running out of power on these consoles. And I've seen footage, and I think in the distance at Gamescom I saw the next-gen version being played, but the booth was always round, so I didn't really see it up close. I think it feels like they're maybe putting all their emphasis into the next-gen version, which is cool. I've got no beef with that. But this one, I mean... People always criticise football games for being the same every year, don't play them. And I've always kind of argued back and said, no, but, if you play loads of them, you see all the minutiae changes, and even small animations can have huge effects on how the final game plays out. But, man, this is really, really, really fucking similar. I did notice that the shooting is better. It's more varied. It's kind of snappier. There was more different types of goals being scored both by me and the computer, and I was having a bit more luck with tackling, and it didn't feel quite as bogged down as 13. But I mean, I'm clutching at straws here, to be honest. I couldn't really tell the difference.
Wow. I had several games, and I think it feels... I mean, the problem with football games is that you can never judge them off the demo. You can only really judge after several hours playing them. Yeah. I found that one of the things that bothered me about FIFA 13 was that it was really easy for your players to pick out long through balls. Right. So there was this time, which I'm sure I spoke about on here, where I was playing as a guy who does Messi play for?
Barcelona or Argentina, yeah.
All right, yeah. And every single time, even the goalkeeper, I think, whoever got the ball, long through ball, Messi would receive it and he'd be on goal. That just kept happening sometimes. It's a hell of a lot more difficult than this because I kept trying to do it. And whereas before you could occasionally get by with a through ball that didn't have any height on it, now that's almost impossible. The AI is really difficult here. I mean, I don't know if that's... I've never understood playing football games again, or any competitive game against AI. I've never understood the appeal because I don't know what you're I don't get it. But the AI seemed really quite difficult and really used tricks and skill. The skill things that I think that I don't tend to use. One of the best things about all football games is that you can learn all those skill tricks. It's like any great competitive game. I mean, Street Fighter, you can, if you're good enough, get by without doing any special moves. And I play football games very much using just the buttons as they are. I don't use any skill tricks, any of that stuff. But this game felt like if you don't learn all of those tricks, you're going to be at a massive disadvantage. Because the fact that the AI was doing all of this stuff, and that was why. I mean, I got beaten twice. I don't know. That's just my assumption, though. Again, you can't make any concrete judgments of a demo. But I think it's good. I think it's they've remixed penalties slightly. And I think that the goalkeeping's better because in 13 it was 50-50 at best. You dive in a certain direction and your keeper would just flail around, and half the time he'd knock the ball in the goal or he wouldn't touch it at all. Every time I saved a penalty or I went in the right direction in the 14 demo, he saved the ball, and I was like, okay, that's definitely better because it was so messy in 13. But I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I do think it's good as well. But I thought that I played the demo of PES 2014 was better, which is my number 6, and I can just go on to talk about it now. Now, I played the leaked demo a few weeks ago, didn't I? I think that was the last podcast I was on, which was a fucking mess. I feel kind of bad. They released it, it appeared, I got it, I downloaded it, I made a video, whatever. It's not my fault. Yeah. But what that demo was, I don't know. It was a fucking sluggish, hellish mess. I don't know why it exists. I don't know why it was ever on anyone's server. The new one, admittedly now playing on 360 instead of PS3, so I don't know, I haven't played the PS3 version of the new demo, is much, much, much better. It's nice and responsive. It's probably not quite as snappy as PES 2013, but the animation and the new engine, in my opinion, makes up for that. I played this quite a lot, actually. There's loads of teams on the demo. Yeah. It's like 6 international teams and 6 club teams or something, maybe, or 4. I think it's crazy. And Man United are on there. I'm obviously a United fan. Other cool teams to play as. You play as England, you play as Portugal. So you got Ronaldo, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I scored some absolutely brilliant goals. I was loving the passing. Some of the animation in the new engine was absolutely superb. I mean, truly brilliant. From small stuff like the way an attacking player will react when his legs are just clipped slightly when he's running through. It just looked fucking beautiful, and all the way up to like some of the. I scored a goal with Van Persie with the kind of back heel from across, which is just a fucking joke. I got out of my chair, and I didn't really have anything bad to say about it. I was so happy that the game PES 2014 isn't that game that I played 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that game doesn't really exist. This is what the game is. Presumably, I mean, every single year, the demo has and the final product have been different. So presumably, this is the game. It's out so soon that I can't see how it's not. But I'm very excited. It's a shame that it's not on next gen, but I understand why. Purely because I'm going to be keeping an old console around just to play it for the whole year. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pumped. I think it's great. Okay.
Well, me too. I mean, I think if we're gonna if we have to sort of judge the demos as a sort of realistic sign of what the full games are going to be, I think it's going to be very similar to last year in that I think they're both excellent and you're going to win either way. But I think PES is the better game. In terms of the presentation, I mean, bits of it do look, when they're standing in the frame rate's terrible, but when they're standing in the tunnel waiting to come out, the players looks really, really quite remarkable. And on the pitch, it looks great as well. Some of the lighting effects are amazing. It's a lot, the menus and stuff, and actually some of the stuff on the pitch, it's a lot more like FIFA. It's a lot more garish. The colours are a lot louder. You know, FIFA's always been like a festival, like so bright and colourful, and PES has always been quite muted. This looks a lot more like FIFA just because there's fucking reds and bright blues and stuff everywhere. It's slower than FIFA, obviously. They've reworked corners. They're so much better. The main problem with PES 2013 is that the corners, I don't think I ever scored off a corner.
I'm under 5, definitely under 5, and the whole time I've been playing it.
Yeah. Now they've changed it so you have this sort of row of dots that chart the trajectory, and then you can decide the power. I almost scored off one the first time I used it, and I was like, fucking hell, this is good.
Yeah, that's there for free kicks as well now, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, and I absolutely rattled one off the bar from about 30 yards with it. So that's good. But you can turn it off and do the old system just by pressing the right bumper as well.
Oh, right,
if you want to be a purist.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, it's too early to say what's massively different because you have to play a hell of a lot of both in order to know that. But on the evidence of the demos, I think, you can't lose. But for me, playing that PES demo was just like, yes, I can't wait to smash people up online on this. Or get smashed up online. I guess.
And it really felt quite different to 2013. It felt like, because it's a new engine, so that's why. As different as a football game can feel, whereas for me, 14 and 13 on FIFA was like, okay, it's all about the next gen version, which I'm still very excited for as well, because that's another game entirely as well. So which might hopefully I'm going to go to Eurogamer at the end of this month, so hopefully try and get a game on it there. But it's always so rammed that I can't be doing my queuing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's win-win. I think. I mean, FIFA will always win on features and official stadiums and players and all that stuff, but. Just the on the pitch stuff on PES is just absolutely superb.
Yeah, some of it was like, I don't understand. This is the feeling that I used to have. I mean, this is again. I mean, I played this demo quite a lot. It maybe should have been higher up on my list. Actually, I can't really work out how much I played different games on holiday, but there are moments I used to think about Pro Evo and even the ISS Pro games when I was a kid. I don't understand how this has been made, especially back in the day, because I used to play every football game back in the day, back in the PS1 days, every single football game I played. And then ISS Pro came out, and it was like, it's not just better than all the other ones. It doesn't even make sense how much better it is than all the other ones. It's like it's come from a different planet. And then I always felt like that going forward for the next however many years until it all started to go wrong. But this year, even in the short time that I've played, it does feel like I've had some of those moments again. Just animations and things and the way the players react on the pitch. It's like, how have they made this?
Yeah.
So I'm fucking super pumped. Then it's out next week. Fucking GTA and Pro Evo in the same week. It's like being a teenager again.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shit, no, yeah. It's not. I'm still too old I wasn't even a teenager when GTA came out. Anyway, talking rubbish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. That's good. Good football shizzle. Okay. Yes. Well, my number 6 is Splinter Cell Blacklist. I haven't gone back to the campaign, although I do intend to if I find the time. I won't find the time. Maybe sometime down the road when it's an HD remake on my watch or something. It's kind of when we did last year, we might do it again this year. Last year we did the 20 most underrated games of the year or whatever. Yeah. And the concept is so nebulous because underrated often doesn't mean critically panned. It often doesn't mean unsuccessful. It's this weird thing where you get a feeling like I feel the way. I'm sure if we do that again, Splinter Cell Blacklist will be on my list because I feel this kind of like why isn't this absolutely huge? It's another AAA, unbelievably polished, riddled with absolutely so much content. It's Ubisoft operating at full whack again. Yeah, it's so fucking good. I mean, I enjoyed the campaign a lot. Some people may not like it if they're sort of really, really against the action stuff. Although there's much less of it this time. The spies versus mercenaries mode is so good. It's actually ridiculous. There's friends of mine. I always say to them, "Let's get this." I gave up on that years ago because we have Battlefield, and whenever I've recommended we buy a game, they shell out 40 quid, which they haven't got, and we play it for a week, and then they sell it, and we play Battlefield again. Yeah. This is the first time in a long time where I've said, "Look," because it's 3-on-3. I said, "Look." To two of my mates, look, just get it. And they're like, well, fucking Grand Theft Auto, the new consoles, fuck it. And I'm like, no, just trust me. It is absolutely as good as you possibly can think a 3-on-3 action game could be. Do you know how it works?
I played the old ones, yeah. Oh, did you? I'm assuming it's the same. Yeah, I played it on Pandora Tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I never played any of the old ones, but it's a first-person shooter, and then you change sides, and you're basically Sam Fisher 3 times. Yeah. It's so well balanced. It really is. It's so well thought out. Just the concept of the game alone is brilliant, but it's executed to absolute perfection. And I played it. I mean, the thing is, I played it on PS3, so I didn't have a headset, and I didn't have friends also playing it, obviously. But I got into this game where I was playing in with 2 American guys, and I heard everything they said. So I think after a while they could tell that I was listening to them. Sure. So I'd start getting vague. When you're cooperating, it's one of those games that just commands the cooperation. It's like a Battlefield or any one of those games where you succeed by just sheer fucking military precision. It's thrilling, absolutely thrilling. That mode is thrilling. I can't remember the last time I've not only turned on my PS3 to play a multiplayer game, but turned it on to play a multiplayer game when I'm not playing with friends. That's how good it is. It's so good. And I'm just looking at Splinter Cell, I'm just like, it's too close to COD, it's too close to GTA, it's too close to game. For some reason, I get the feeling that a lot of people just said, maybe when it's 20 quid some point down the line. It's a shame. It's I mean, it's too early to say. It's only just come out. It might it's done well enough, I think. Judging by its placement in the charts, but what the fuck does that mean? It's fucking great, really great. I mean, an impressive package, and a gorgeous looking game, and just God, yeah, I really, really rate it.
Yeah, I've wanted to play it ever since I saw some of the early, not the early demos, but the more recent ones this year. I like the way it flowed, and I like Conviction as well, more than Double Agent, definitely, and. Yeah, I struggled with Chaos Theory as well, even though I know people say that's the best, but personally I just kind of struggled with it. I think I was done on the Uber Stealth by that point. But, it's tough, man. Saints Row, I haven't played Killer is Dead yet. Yeah. There's other stuff I can't talk about that I'm currently playing for review, and then GTA's out next week. It's just tough, but yeah, maybe down the road.
Yes.
All right, is it me?
Yes.
It is. My number 5 is Hotline Miami on PlayStation Vita.
Oh, yeah.
I played quite a lot of this on holiday. It's a fucking brilliant game. I was basically just trying to better my scores and to try and get the A+ rankings on levels, but I couldn't really work out how to do that. I managed to do it on the first level, and then I've been racking my brains playing the sort of next 3 levels, really enjoying myself still, but not really understanding how to get A+, and it might just be the fact that it's incredibly difficult to do so.
Yeah,
I was getting like Bs, so I wasn't doing badly.
But that's part of the joy is just experimenting. That's what that game's all about. I don't think. I mean, you can see how the points rack up at the end, but it's all about. I got an A+ just from doing the most mental thing. Halfway through, I thought I'm going to die in a minute, and this is all fucked. But it wasn't. That's why I think the game's so fucking good, because you can just. I'm sure the number 1 in the world bears no relation. If you watch a playthrough of number 1 and number 2, I'm sure they're vastly different from each other. But yeah, it's good. I'd love to play it on Vita. I've only played it on PS3.
It's absolutely brilliant on Vita. I mean, not only does it fucking pop on that screen as everything does, but I don't know. I mean, one of the key ways of playing it on PC is using the lock-on. So you hold the shift button, look ahead, then you can click your mouse wheel to lock onto someone, and then you can. It's basically like Z targeting in Zelda. Yeah. You can then move around them. Can you do that on PS3?
No. Oh, actually, yes, you can. I didn't realise that you could, but yes, you can. See, a mate of mine came round the other day, and I said to him, "You've got to play this game." And we played it, and he was underwhelmed because he's a dick. But when he was playing it, he was locking on. I was like, "Oh, I didn't really. I don't think I'd even choose to play like that, because that's part of the thrill of it is lining up a perfect shot." But yeah, you can do it on one of the trigger buttons. Yeah.
Because that was a lot of how I played on PC, and the way it's done on Vita is absolutely brilliant. You just play normally with the 2 sticks or whatever, then you put your thumb on a screen and just drag across, and that will move your view. And then with your other hand, which is normally on the left stick, you just tap the dude and then you're locked onto them. And it works so well. It works way better than the PC, and it just becomes more buttons, basically. And you can just shift your movement around with your thumb, and then you're quickly back to the stick. And you can play like 3 different styles at once. You can play that slow, because that's kind of more of a stealthy play. Yeah. You've got the twin sticks are good enough to play all-out action, and then you've got the kind of combination of the two. Because it's just great. The PlayStation Vita version is absolutely brilliant. The game's brilliant. I can't wait for the second one. It's been. I'm so glad that I ended up buying it for the Vita after the disasters that I had with it earlier on, with all the bugs. And yeah, I still haven't got tired of those tunes.
Yeah, me neither. No, I'm the same as that. I'm enjoying just taking. I haven't finished it yet, so I'm just enjoying doing it at quite a slow pace. But I'll speak about it again, no doubt. Yeah,
and it's day and date PlayStation Vita for the release of the second one.
And PS3?
Yeah. PS4, I think, but I don't know, maybe PS3.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, why would they not?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 5 is actually 2 games mashed together. It's SSX and Need for Speed Most Wanted. I won't speak about them for very long because we've both spoken about them at length for many times. I'm just again going through this pile of games that I'm trying to get rid of, and these 2 I don't think I ever want to get rid of them because I love them too much. Going back to SSX was great. It made me. I think a lot of people with SSX were a little bit hard on it for not I think they criticised it for what it didn't do rather than what it does. And the Deadly Descents, you didn't like them, did you? The Deadly Descents?
No.
Yeah. I heard a lot of stuff about that. I like them. I mean, they force you to learn the tracks, but then again, a lot of racing games do that. They always have. This is just a bit more brutal than those. But yet, the global events still amaze me. And they're so addictive. I mean, they do pinch sort of. It is very much like gambling, but it's a game that's so much fun, and I think it's a bit of a classic. And I can't quite believe that it didn't do as well as it probably should have done. The 3-2-1 simultaneous races that I didn't play much of when they were patched in. I can't remember, like eight months ago or so. It's hard to get games because there's not a lot of people playing it, but when you do, that's a hell of a lot of fun. A mate of mine's brought it in the interim without telling me, and it was great to go and smash some scores, make some money. I love it. I really do love it, and it's so strange that it's the same with Need for Speed Most Wanted. I feel exactly the same way about that. That's a game that me and my girlfriend, we used to just meet up on Sunday and we'd play online and just drive around looking for billboards and stuff. There's something about, I mean, I know EA is a corporation and everything they do is bad and blah, blah. And they almost certainly harnessed it because they thought it would be a great way, they thought they could make money from it. But whoever came up, or the teams and the different people that have developed and come up with Autolog and RiderNet, there's something really pure about it. And it's so strange that systems that never invite you to speak, you're never ever asked to interact with anyone else. But I feel like I'm stepping into a community when I turn it's honestly, when I turn those games on and they start, I feel like I'm walking into like a housewarming party of the world's most affable hippie, and it's just like, leaderboards over there, multiplayer challenges, campaign, do what you want. I'm just like, I feel, when I play shooters, I always imagine some spiky-haired little shithead sort of going, I'm going to kill you, and I'm just like, fucking clap you, little bastard. It's always how I think. But on here, I just, I feel like I really want to sort of, it's a social device that's not social, but at the same time it's more social than most other things that try and get people to try and communicate and stuff like that. It's so weird, but I love turning those 2 games on, and I love playing multiplayer with people, and I love, I don't know, there's something so affable and nice about them. I'm sure that's the creator's intention. The fact that EA have tried to put it into other games that maybe the fit's not perfect is another matter, but those 2 games are fucking great. And just as games, they're fantastic anyway. I love them both.
I wonder if we'll see another SSX. It did all right, didn't it?
I don't think it... But, I mean, who knows what projections they... who knows what they wanted from it. No one ever knows. And didn't it come out, 2 days before Mass Effect 3 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Who knows? Well, I thought it did okay. I thought it did all right. All right, my number 4 is PlayStation Vita again. It's a game called Stealth Inc., which is previously known as Stealth Bastard, a much better name on PC, but for obvious reasons they changed it to Stealth Inc. It's just a shame because it's not like that word is particularly offensive. But anyway, it's called Stealth Inc., which is a terrible name. And it is a 2D stealth puzzle game where you basically play as a cross between a Sam Fisher and a little minion from Despicable Me.
Right.
But without, it doesn't make funny little noises like the minions. But they're basically little clones that operate as little stealth men or something. I don't really understand the story. It was free. It came out on PlayStation Vita and it was straight on PS Plus. So I don't think I'd have ever bought this game because it never really appealed. But it was on PS Plus, so yeah, brilliant. I downloaded it and I've given it a real shake. I've played a good bunch of levels, played a good few hours on it, and it's not really doing it for me. I think it's a clever game. It is, like I say, a stealth puzzler. A lot of it involves manipulating 2D environments in order to stay in the shadows, basically, and not get caught, not get squished by doors that are coming down, not get seen by cameras and shot by turrets, and then just to get through. And it has messages that appear on the wall almost, Splinter Cell style, right? tell you you're doing well. I think the story is eventually alluding to the fact that you're these clones and you're going to try and escape from this kind of fucked up facility that's killing other clones, and then you just get replaced by the next one. But the gameplay doesn't. It's good. It's definitely good and clever and admirable. And I think if I'd played it, I think it might be a couple of years old, and maybe if I played it a couple of years ago when there was fewer 2D indie games, right, I would have liked it more. But as it is, I was like, this is good, but it's not quite good enough to keep me away from the other games, which I'll talk about later in my list. Yeah. And not quite good enough to keep me playing, because it wasn't. A lot of it's kind of trial and error, and it didn't. Some of these games just always leave me a bit cold. You get to the end, and I'm like, yeah, I got there, but I didn't. It's not like I'm not having a eureka moment like I do with Portal, for example. Yeah. But then again, kind of spatial puzzling and stuff doesn't massively appeal to my brain. I'm more of a reactionary type of person than someone who likes to deconstruct a space. I've said it multiple times. Loads of blokes love to pull things apart and see how they work. Yeah. I don't give a fuck myself. So that type of game just doesn't appeal to my brain. I prefer to just like fucking, like wrestle people and eat meat. I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what I want to do. I'm an idiot. Still think would appeal more to that type of brain type, I think. But it's a shame it's not called Stealth Bastard anymore. Free on PS Plus. PS Plus is brilliant.
Okay.
I don't want to hate. It just isn't really for me. That
sounds like a game that I watched a Let's Play video of maybe a year ago, and it just left me quite cold. So it might not be. I have the vaguest of recollections of it.
It could have a lot less personality than it does. I'll say that. I mean, they really do a good job of giving it as much, as much as it possibly could have for what it is. Because if you break it down, it is a fairly rudimental game. It's like, here is a way of a puzzle working, and can you figure it out? But they give it as much personality as they can. So credit there. And yeah, I'm sure I've heard other people liking it a lot.
Okay. What was the new title?
Stealth Inc. Which I think makes sense for what the story is.
Yeah, that's a shame though, because Stealth Bastard is infinitely better title.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, my number 4 is Rock Band Blitz. We've spoken about it way too many times. It's just become an obsession again, as much so as it was when it came out. And my girlfriend has discovered something that I'm not massively happy about. I'm like in the top 10 on a lot of songs on the worldwide leaderboards. But I never quite understand how some of the people are getting the scores that they get on number 1 and number 2. They seem unattainable. But my girlfriend has discovered that rather than using the blast notes, which we use, if you use flame notes, but they bounce around. Yeah. And you have to chase them, which means that it's a bit more unstructured, and it fucks with my chi. I'm like, I want to. I know I play the game a certain way, and I don't really want to mess with that, and I don't really get much of entertainment from chasing these things around. Whereas she does, which means she started to beat some of my high scores, which is means all I get is non-stop smack talk. It's such a significant part of our lives these days. Whenever we see each other and there's an Xbox, we're just like, should we have a couple of songs, and we do this. And she's just really leery, and it's really annoying me. She's turned into like a what did you call me? Was it like a villain? A comic book villain?
80s villain. You remind me of the bad guy in California Man.
California Man?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
The Brendan Fraser film,
Yeah, no, I don't remember the bad guy in that. There was a bad guy in that, wasn't it? Just
he's just the most. If you were to draw a picture of the most generic jock of all time, it would be this guy.
All right, okay, thanks, I appreciate that. But no, she's like she's like that. She's like a villain from a comic book, and she did something the other day, and I didn't sink in until 5 minutes after. And I turned to her, and I was just like, "Did you hear what you just said?" We were out having lunch, really nice place, Sunday lunch, and she said to me, I don't think you understand how to harness the power of the flame note. And I paid no attention to it. And then 5 minutes I was like, you just said something that made you sound like a fucking comic book villain or something, giving it the large. But that's all I get now is fucking Lair, because she's giving it the large. I say I'm not going to adapt and use flame notes. I probably will, just because this is getting to be too much.
Sounds like you're going to.
Yeah, I can't have any more of this. Incidentally, I spoke last week about how it's actually, Rock Band Blitz is actually quite a dodgy proposition, because there's things like that achievement. Thank you for buying 300 pieces of DLC. Yeah. My little brother's bought Rock Band Blitz, and he's playing it, and I keep saying, how you finding it, how you finding it? And he's highlighted something that I've completely forgotten, which is that the way it works is you play the game and you earn Blitz credits, and then you use those Blitz credits to pay for these modifiers, these multipliers, these sort of tools that make the game what it is. He said, because he hasn't got any DLC, he's like, I can't really progress because I run out of Blitz credits, and then the only way to get them up is to play songs without using the modifiers, which is completely pointless. That's not the game. But you make a fuckload of Blitz coins, credits or whatever, when you play a song that you've not played before. So it's like, download some more songs. That's how you get more.
I didn't even know that.
It's really quite shocking. I mean, it's really, the thing is, I can't, as bad as it is, it seems like some of the worst techniques from free to play. The fact that you buy a game and you can't play it as it is until you download a shitload of songs, because otherwise the Blitz coins run out and you have to play it without using the tools that you're supposed to, that are part of the game. I love Rock Band Blitz so much that I could never diss it. I think it's terrible. I mean, Rock Band Blitz is my racist grandfather. I know he's my granny. He's my granny. He's my grandfather. So, you know, he may have some horrendous... There may be some horrendous things about him, but I'm not going to diss him because I love him too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's quite shocking at the same time. I was quite being reminded of that. I turned a blind eye to it at the time because I had a million songs and I love the game, but he can't play it basically, and it's quite shit.
That is terrible. I had no idea because, yeah, like you, had a lot of songs, and I've never even noticed that was a thing. I just played it, but
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. That's bad. Incidentally, you should definitely, not you, but other people should definitely watch Chet's play Rock Band Blitz videos if you're just interested in seeing what is one of the best Rock Band Blitz players in the world play Rock Band Blitz. It's kind of fascinating. If you've ever played Rock Band Blitz, and you maybe like David last week played it a few hours, had a bit of fun, maybe didn't like it, whatever, and switched it off, to watch, I mean, like I said, I'm quite good at it, and I basically play it as Chet does, but way worse. Right. And to watch it happen in runs that he says aren't even good enough to be on YouTube because he's an asshole, is quite something, really. It's weird to know the best. They should make a documentary about this, like the couple that are competing to be the best players in a game that no one plays. Yeah, it is annoying. I'd love to have more competition, but all of those clips could be better. What's annoying is that I've beaten all of those scores I've put on YouTube, so it's just a fucking. I'm just gonna. It's a really frustrating situation. Incidentally, I don't have a racist grandfather. That was just an analogy. I don't think you know how to harness the power of the flames. Don't start, boy. My number 3 is a game, again, like Rock Band Blitz, I talked about way too much. Apologies, there'll be more games next week. But it's Spelunky on Vita. I've talked about it loads. I don't really have anything else to add other than PlayStation Vita on holiday was corking. I mean, I'm considering this console with PS Plus and with these indie games, Hotline Miami, Spelunky, one I'll talk about in a minute. I know that Thomas Was Alone. Oh, I forgot, that should have been on my list. There's a few more, I'm forgetting them. It's become, like, for me, a god tier machine. It's absolutely brilliant. It is the best place to play this current crop of indie games, which are like the coolest games out there at the moment, really. And this is the best place to play them. It just fucking is. The screen's amazing. The controls are amazing. It's fucking portable. You can download it. It has an instant off and on, which for a game like this is a game where you only want to have like 2 or 3 sessions, 2 or 3 goes, each of which takes maybe 5 minutes, depending on how well you do. The fact you can instant on that shit, as Jason Killingsworth wrote in his excellent article for Edge, so I don't want to seem like I'm copying, but it is a good point, the instant on. And yeah, it's just the fucking best. It's the best place to play these games. And that's it. Spelunky's really good, but you already knew that. Yeah, what's happening on the sort of the AAA? I don't know. Killzone's out. It's either out this week. I've not even touched it. I've not even thought about it. I don't care. It's weird. I don't even want to play it. I should do, really. But for me, this machine is now about indie games. That seems to be the consensus, but are Sony taking it in that direction? Are they still churning out like fucking Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and all that stuff? I don't know, you know. I mean, I've not heard, all I'm hearing for Vita now is PS4 crossplay, PS4 remote play, which is going to be fantastic, I hope. And yeah, just indie games. like high level, high profile as those games get, indie games. And I don't know how the machine's doing business-wise. I don't care. I've got one. It's not going away because they're going to keep releasing these games on PSN. And they're going to be best on Vita. It's got every single way of controlling it. You can download it straight to the console. It's the shit. I'm really happy that I had bought this machine, and I bought it for work, and I really thought it was just going to sit there like the PSP, and it did for months. I didn't touch this machine for months, and now I'm on it almost every day.
Fuck. I mean, I had one at launch with all of the launch games on it, and I was just like, I love this machine so much, but you just know how inessential it is when you put it away. So there's no indication about whether this is something that Sony are orchestrating, because I haven't heard anything about Killzone aside. I mean, it seems like the smart move to actually focus on trying to get as many indie games on that system.
It's a massive Sony initiative for next gen, for PS4 and PS Vita. Yeah, they've got that Shahid Ahmed, I think his name is just going out there day after day, signing up indie games, talking to the devs. I think he's UK based, but yeah, they're just fucking scouring the globe for the best games and getting them first on PlayStation, or day and date with the PC version. I think they're supporting some games and helping fund some of the development. They're just going all out. They know what they're doing, and they see this as like a key way of wrestling some of the audience back to PlayStation. And it's one of the reasons that I have the PlayStation pre-ordered over the Xbox One. The main reason being that it's a fuckload cheaper. But I really like what they're doing, and the fact that now I know that these games are, like I say, going to be coming out day and date. I love the PC, and I love there's always going to be PC games that don't end up on PlayStation things, and there's always going to be cool reasons to play these PC games. But the fact these big games are coming to that awesome machine is the boy. It's top boy.
How much are they going for at the moment?
I honestly don't know. I can't even remember what I paid for mine.
I keep seeing retweeted like there's a deal on, and I'm like, oh god, I need to pick one up, but I don't know. I'll wait a bit longer.
What will be interesting is, I mean, you're going for the the console, aren't you?
Just yeah. Everyone I know has
exactly, and it was just kind of making me almost sway, but I'm gonna stick with it. But yeah, you have to come and check out how the thing works, because the remote thing on the Vita, because that's got to be a reason if you end up getting a PlayStation as well.
So does this mean, can you play PS4 games on the Vita?
Yes. You
can play batters in bed?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you know how the Wii U works?
Yeah.
It's that.
But it's on Wi-Fi, I assume, rather than like a telephone signal from 1908.
No, it's I think it's on Bluetooth.
Oh, is it? So
I don't know.
I don't know. I assumed it would be in all of the same. If you hook up to a Wi-Fi, like the way Apple TV works, if it's on the same network, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know absolutely nothing.
As far as I'm aware, and what I've read and seen so far, that it works really well. I'm not the guy to ask about technology. I don't know. Just fucking it jumps through the air and lands on your console. I don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
But I mean, batters might struggle because the Vita doesn't have enough buttons, but for other games, batters is always the one I think of. But yeah, for games that require less buttons, really, it could be amazing.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh god, I'm so torn. People are speaking a lot of shit about Microsoft at the moment. They're like, oh god, they've gone back on everything they've said. I'm like, yeah, that shows they're listening. The few things they've done, I'm just like, I'm going with them. This is why I trusted them throughout the last generation. Sony said something as a knee-jerk reaction to what they heard from Microsoft, and we kind of hope that they're going to make good on it. But who knows? I don't know. I'd like both. Who knows if I'll be able to get both? What am I talking about? What number are we on?
That was my number 3.
Okay, my number 3 was doubled up FIFA demo, PES demo.
Okay, so my number 2 then is Velocity Ultra on Vita. I talked about this a while ago, the game with a really generous trial.
Yeah, right.
It's the kind of 2D shooter. I figured this would be a perfect holiday game. I really felt like the guy who, incidentally, is a one-man team in Brighton. So he's probably like your next-door neighbour.
It's a distinct possibility.
Yeah. And, I wanted to give him money, basically, because the trial was so generous, and I thought the game was so good, and it is. It just keeps getting better and better and better. It's split into, I think, 50 levels. I haven't got to the end of it yet. I think I'm about 35 in. And you play as a little ship going up the screen. The main systems are you can teleport by holding, I think it's square, and then moving your little cursor quickly and then letting go, and you'll teleport to there. And you can speed the scrolling up by holding the right trigger. You can shoot, and then you can use the right stick to fire, I think they're basically like bombs or missiles in one of the 4 directions. Every level manages to cram new ideas out of those systems to the point where the amount of times I sat there and I just kept saying to myself, "You're a genius. You're a genius, mate." I'd do a thing in this game and I was like, "You're a genius. This is so clever. I can't believe you're so clever." And at the end of every level, I was like, "This is a brilliant game. You are a brilliant person." The only things that I have to say bad about it is it's clearly been done on a relative shoestring, and I don't mean that as even a criticism of the game. In fact, it's a positive. But there are elements of the game which you know that the sequel, which is coming out at some point, I think maybe next year, will probably improve on. The fact that it's very sparse graphically, it's not a bad looking game at all, and it looks nice on the Vita screen, but the background is just like black space with some dots for stars. There's no like depth to it. The textures, it's just completely 2D, but it's just very plain looking, very clean but very plain. There are bits where like a static 2D comic book panel will come up to tell you this level you're required to accelerate the whole time or something like that, but they look kind of ropey. Yeah. And that kind of thing, like the menus and stuff, you can see how all of those areas with more money are going to be improved. But he, for this game, has focused everything, every bit of budget, every bit of time on what matters, and that is this gameplay that doesn't exist in another game. No other game that I've ever played plays like this. Nothing else has this wicked teleporting mechanic which you can use. There are times where you have to use it to solve puzzles. There are times where you have to use it to quickly nip in and out of as you're scrolling up, you'll get caught in a little pocket basically, and then another little pocket will appear, and the stuff in between that is a wall, so you have to teleport to the next pocket, but you have to do that quickly before you get crushed by the screen. And there are times where you just use it when you're fighting fucking waves of baddies when there's too many bullets, and you quickly teleport to a space where you've identified this is all happening really fast. So it has a kind of bullet hell element to it sometimes as well. It's a brilliant game. I think it cost me £6-7. This is the Vita specific version. I just read the Velocity Ultra, but Velocity is the PS3 version. I think it's the same game, but he just did it natively for Vita, so it works with the screen and whatnot. Brilliant game. Can't wait for the sequel. He's a very talented dude.
It's not his first game, is it?
I don't know. It's Future Lab is the name of the studio, but I'm pretty sure it's just one guy. I'm pretty sure his name is James, but I've forgotten his surname.
Okay. I remember you talking about that a few weeks ago, and I went and I scoured the PS3 trying to find it, and I couldn't. And I looked under Velocity and Velocity Ultra, and I couldn't find. I think I found the downloadable full version for Vita, but I couldn't find a PS3 version, and I couldn't find a demo on either. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to have another look because that really does sound tremendous.
You'd love it.
Yeah,
100%. You'd love it.
Fuck, I really but I searched. I remember this is something. That's when I bought Hotline Miami. That's what I went there to try and find that, and I just couldn't find it.
I don't 100% know that it is on PS3 then, because I've only played the Vita version, and I think in my mind I'd heard that it was on PS3, but I haven't done the research, which is no real surprise there. But I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is.
I'll have another look because that really does sound right on my street.
Yeah, and the tunes are quite good as well.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Okay, my number 2 is this is a very, very weird one. This is a game called Office Affairs on the Xbox 360, and it's not weird because the game's weird. It's weird because I still don't know how to process my feelings about it. Basically, a friend was around the other night, and we said let's download something amusing from XBlig. And we found the box art was a scowling woman with her legs out sitting on an office chair. Office Affairs. I was like, well, that's got to be worth a look. Yeah. As soon as it started, I was like, oh, because it was developed by Silver Dollar Games, who made One Finger Death Punch. I was like, oh, okay. Basically, in an ideal world, I wouldn't say anything about it. I do this too much, though. I say just download it, but I understand that's not enough. It's a really good idea, and I'm really enamoured with it. It's not executed brilliantly, and in the end, it's quite underwhelming. But when I was playing, I was like, this would not exist anywhere else. And with a little bit more polish, I think it would be genuinely a talking point if it appeared on PC. or something like that. Basically, here's what happens. The game starts and there's a guy standing on top of a building, and there's just a prompt to press a button. You press a button, he jumps off, and he's like, oh, well, yeah, cheers, I've jumped off the building. And what you do is I think, it doesn't specify a time frame, but he talks through his life, and he talks through, I think, the last 24 hours, and he wants to relive that 24 hours. So as you're plummeting to the ground, you make these decisions about how he spent his final day. As I was playing it, I mean, because we played the trial first, and within about 60 seconds, I was like, I'm going to buy this. I've got to play the full version. It's basically an interactive story. So you're listening to this guy narrate his day and what he hates about his life, and how is he going to change, and how is he going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. I bought the full game, and I have to say, I'm so enamoured with the idea. It's such a cool idea. It's not brilliantly executed. I think it's because Silver Dollar make games very fucking quickly. Some of them are excellent. I mean, One Finger Death Punch is one of the best games I've played this year. But they're the most ridiculously prolific developer on XBLIG by quite some distance. So the story, it's not brilliantly written. You know, it's a guy telling his story, and you're like, it's just about good enough. But it's not. You know, if a bit more time was taken on it, so the story was the selling point, it would be a different matter. Some of the gameplay, because as you're plummeting to the ground, you move left and right, and you avoid obstacles like filing cabinets and office sort of bits and pieces, and the whole thing's about this guy trying to sort of loosen up and find a woman. So when you these women fly up, it's a rudimentary. The gameplay is completely rudimentary. It's about making these choices and avoiding stuff. The only problem is that sometimes the game gets quite difficult, and if you die by getting hit by these things, which is quite easily done, you go straight back to the beginning, and then you have to listen to this not massively thrilling story again. And there's only ever two options, and some of the options end up insisting that you choose the other option anyway, so it's not like you're going to hear different versions of the story. I just really liked the fucking conceit of the game. I thought it was really fucking neat. It's so difficult because on the one hand I don't recommend it because I bought it thinking it was something much more substantial than what it is, but at the same time the way the story goes and where it sort of ties in at the end, you're like, oh, that's really nice. And as with One Finger Death Punch, you get a really heartfelt thank you at the end for playing the game in the first place. I don't know. It's so difficult. I recommend it at the same time as thinking that it's not really worth the money I paid for it.
That does sound pretty cool. I mean, ever since One Finger Death Punch, I've just suddenly become a bit more interested in them. I was really surprised when I went on their website because I kind of assumed, I actually went on to see if it was their first game, and it turned out it was like their 950 millionth game. And I'd actually played one of their other games before and talked about it fucking episodes ago, Hockey Fights, which is a really basic but quite fun game with two hockey dudes have a scrap. And then I had all the sexy games and all the fucking buzzly games, and then unbelievably prolific, like you say. But that does sound, the conceit's brilliant. I can imagine, in my mind, how you explained it, it sounded amazing. But
what I paid for is that when I saw it happening, I was like, I'm shutting out. This is already interesting. The conceit is that interesting.
Was it just 69p?
It's 69p, and the whole game from beginning to end, if you don't die, which is very infuriating, it's like probably 10 minutes. And it's just, you're being told a story, you can interact with it a little. It's not the most brilliant story in the world, but because of how quickly they work, you think that a few more drafts of that script and it could have been something really special. And just, the idea is so good that I think if it had appeared on PC and it was a bit more polished, I think it would be the kind of talking point that sort of comes up on the indie games on PC. It's really difficult because it's not much of a game. But I really like the experience of playing it. So weird one.
Yeah, that does sound all right. That does sound all right. Okay, my number one is a game that's probably frustrating for me to talk about. It's Rayman, but it's Rayman Origins, so I apologise. I haven't had a chance to play Legends yet. But Rayman Origins on PlayStation Vita, right? So, I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again, but I think the most wrong I've ever been was talking about and reviewing Rayman Origins. I did it for a crappy publication I used to work for a few years ago. The game came out. This is where I had to review every single game, and I know you had to do this in your previous place of employment as well. And it came to this time of year, and it was just almost impossible to do. And Rayman Origins came at the same time as like 10 other games, and I played it. I it didn't quite grab me. I didn't give it a fair enough shake. I still gave it a decent score, but I turns out, as everybody else already knows, that I was rather wrong. I've since gone on to almost finish the game on Vita. It's the game I played on holiday most by a fucking mile. Basically did the whole game from beginning to end, and it's amazing. It's an amazing platform game. It's probably now my second favourite 2D platform game. Mario World will always be untouchable. I can't imagine anything ever being anywhere near as good as that. But I think it might be my second favourite. Certainly the first half of the game, where you're just going from world to world, is just breathtaking. I mean, it truly is, especially on the Vita screen. It just looks unbelievably good, unreal. And like the invention, I'm talking what people already know, right? So I'm not going to go bang on about how good the game is. But for me, I just kept getting blown away by the level of invention. The underwater levels are the best underwater 2D platform levels ever, easily. I haven't played Legends, but they're just beautiful and so atmospheric, and you really feel like you were there. And and I've been swimming in the sea every day on holiday, so that's kind of cool as well. And the only problem I ended up having with the game is it does start to repeat some ideas later on, and then I'm right at the end now. I'm at the bit where you need to beat bosses, and it just starts to really drag, because it makes you, instead of, I just want to get to the end of the game, I want to do each level, do the level, beat the boss, hard or not hard, I don't care, and then get to the end of the game, and then I'll probably get Legends and play it in a couple of months when I'm after a little break. But it's making me fucking grind for bullshits. I have to go and pick up pink bullshits on levels that I've already done in order to unlock the bosses, and it's like, I don't really want to do that. I played this game for hours. I wasn't like being so I wasn't scrimping on bullshits in the first place. I was doing my best to get them all in the previous levels as I played through the game, and I never had to grind as I got through most of the quests. But now it's like you need another 12 guys to get. It's like it's dragging there. And it's a shame, because it's such a like effervescent and exciting and beautiful video game. I don't want to grind for fucking pink things. Just like, it was long enough. I don't feel like I've been cheated out of content. And if I want to go and beat times and find little secret boxes, I will, and I might still. But just let me get to the end. Let me beat the other two bosses, man. Why not? Don't make me grind.
That is that idea of that's polluted almost every great game of the last 10 years. This idea of having to make sure that there's more than enough content, but the pleasure of completing stuff has been lost. I reviewed that at the time, and I played it fuckloads, and I don't remember that being a problem for me. But I remember saying at the time, this is as good as top tier Nintendo platformers. And it even looked amazing on console. I can't believe I haven't played the new one. But that one, I loved it from start to finish, and I don't remember it feeling like a grind.
It's really only at the very end. And I mean, bear in mind, I fucking hammered this when I was away. I hammered it every single time I got a chance, when the boy went to bed, or when I finally got like a 5-minute break from his maniacal sandcastle smashing on holiday. I was just on Rayman Origins, so I still got the little tune in my head. I probably played it too much, but I just want to get to the end, and it's because I know that the new one's out. I want to play that, and I want to play whatever else is coming out, and I'm just like, just fucking get out of the way. I just want to beat the bosses. The bosses are sitting there.
Yeah.
But one thing that I did want to say, I went and I read the 10 out of 10 Rayman Legends review on Eurogamer, which got me excited, obviously. 10 out of 10. Wow. But it contained a line, and this literally kept me up at night one night on holiday. This literally kept me up at night because I'm a fucking idiot. It contained the line, I'm trying to think of the line now. It kept me up and I can't even remember it. They was talking about the fairies in Origins, right? You fucking rescue these fairies, and they're really powerful, and they give you powers. And it called them disturbingly sexualized.
What?
This is a line. It's actually a caption on an image. It said, the disturbingly sexualized, I'm paraphrasing now, but the disturbingly sexualized fairies from Origins are now thankfully replaced by warrior women or something like that. But those two lines, disturbingly sexualized, that's definitely what was said. And I thought about that so much, and I thought, okay, right, that's probably just a throwaway adjective for something that this guy either thinks or thinks that he should think. I'm not going to assume what he does or doesn't think. But it's a fucking dangerous one. That's a dangerous thing to say, because I thought about it and I thought, okay, you look at the fairies in the game. It's a French game. I always give French things a bit of leeway anyway. And they kind of have like short skirts and fishnets on. But it's like, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me at all. They're designed in the game to make Rayman look like a bit of a drooling idiot, and it's a fucking 1 second gag when they appear. That's all it is to me. And I thought about things disturbingly, man. I thought, what has disturbed me in my life? I thought, okay, like major familial trauma, that's disturbed me. Like some of the, the harsher images and stories in the news, obviously. Like a small selection of films, like over all the films I've ever seen, a fucking handful have disturbed me. And I think maybe that trapdoor spider video on YouTube, but
oh god,
a fucking fairy, a sexy fairy in a fucking cartoon computer game? Are you kidding me? Disturbing? Don't say stuff like that. Don't use it as a throwaway adjective.
Why not? They get brownie points for it. People applaud them for doing shit like that.
It's fucking mental.
I know.
It is the act of mental, people.
I know.
You're a nutter. You're a nutter. You're a nutter. What are you talking about? And if that's what you actually think, then you're a nutter. And if it's not what you actually think, you're a nutter. You're a double nutter.
It's not what he thinks. He wrote it because that's what you do. That's currency.
Yeah, because it's throwaway bollocks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's throwaway bollocks, and it was an easy one. It kept me up at night.
That's quite. I must have missed that caption because I think I'd remember that as well. But someone patted him on the back for doing that. That's mad. Funnily enough, just yesterday I was watching Peter Pan with my nephew, who's like 1 or 2. I don't know. He's like a small age, whatever. Tinkerbell. He's not quite. Tinkerbell wears like this tiny little number. Like it just basically it's like a, what do you call those dresses? It's tiny. It comes up quite high and it's quite low. It covers everything that it needs to cover. And I was watching it and I thought, if this character was in a video game, there would be about 3,000 news stories waiting to be printed before the game would even hit the fucking shelves.
You ain't wrong.
Mentalism.
Yeah. I don't want us to think that this podcast is turning into some sort of weird thing, because it has been 3 weeks in a row.
I know.
And you said the very, very salient point last week that we definitely don't want to be associated with look to be supporting a cretinous movement on the other side,
no doubt,
of fuck-witted idiots who speak disgustingly to other people. But, we've got to just have some fucking common sense. Yeah. Just common sense. Don't say stuff like that. You're way better than that. The rest of the review is excellently written, and you're obviously a very, very fine writer and have been for many years. But don't say that. It's a fucking cartoon fairy in a game about a guy with no arms.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, games. I really hope that the next great British satirist does a spell in games journalism before he embarks on his career, because this is an industry that just deserves to be fucking skewered by a great mind. And I wish it was me. I'm sorry, it's not. But this behaviour is beyond parody now. That's ludicrous. That's genuinely ludicrous. Fucking hell. What a bunch of oddballs. Anyway, okay. Damp squib time. My number 1 is Diablo 3 on the Xbox 360.
No way.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. Unlike you, dungeon crawlers, I kind of understand the appeal. And there have been situations, like with Crimson Alliance, which is an Xbox Live indie game, arcade game, where I've seen it and I've said to friends, let's all 4 of us get it and we'll have a right laugh, because the looting and the stuff and all of that stuff appeals to me, and Diablo is the big daddy, so it was interesting to play it. I didn't know this, but apparently it's the first console game that Blizzard have made since StarCraft on the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
You wouldn't know it because it doesn't look the part, but technically it's quite impressive, because Diablo 3 at least, it's huge, and it loads very quickly when you transition between all of these fucking areas. It loads really fast, and you can have 4 players simultaneously running off to these different portals, going through different places. And if it beggars belief that it works on a console because it's such a sprawling game, and you can be in a completely different area simultaneously as another player that you're playing with. It is exactly what I thought it was, what people know it is. It's a dungeon crawler, and it's difficult for me to know how much better it is than, say, Dungeon Siege or Dragon Siege or Dragon Slayer or Dungeon Slayer or Dungeon Siege. You know, Diablo has been ripped off a million times, and this is, by all accounts, the best, and I don't know why it's the best. I mean, I enjoyed it kind of, but it left this. Although I can understand the appeal, that's not the kind of game for me. I don't know what to talk about. I mean, the visuals are quite muddy. There's a lot of pop in. The textures are quite bland. It's the most bombastic game. You've never played any of these?
No.
It's the most bombastic game I've ever played, and I watched a review the other day, and bombastic was used a few times. I was just like, that's the perfect word to summarise what it is. Just the cutscenes and the music and everything is fucking amped up, and it's, you know, a character could be, you know, a character could make a cup of tea and it would be there'd be fucking flames and everything, and you know, people find that quite stirring. I find it quite irritating. Apparently there's new radial menus which weren't in the PC version, but because the text is so small and everything's so crammed in, I thought it was a direct port, because I was like, this is too fucking, there's just too much stuff. I can't move quickly around here without a mouse. I don't know what's going on. So apparently it's been reworked for consoles, but it was difficult for me to tell how, because I never played the PC version. There's a combat role that apparently is not in the... It's locked to a specific class on PC, which makes it feel more like a console 3D action game, and there's 4-player local co-op. There's a lot of emphasis placed on story and backstory, so I think also that's that's a part of the appeal, because rich is the wrong word, because I think it's... I've heard all this stuff before, even though I don't like this kind of stuff. It's such a dark world. It's almost to the degree of Game of Thrones. It's really, really bleak.
Right.
The appeal is just a little bit of a mystery to me. I can understand. Sorry, I can understand the appeal, but I don't imagine myself ever playing it because it's too big. The littler ones like Crimson Alliance possibly, but this, I don't know. I was completely out of my comfort zone, and I was playing it like I don't know what's going on here. I tried multiplayer repeatedly. But I always jumped into games. I quick matched loads of times, and I jumped into games. I ranked up to about 12 on the campaign, and I jumped into quick matches, and I was always in games with people who were like level 40, level 30 or whatever, and I'd mysteriously lose connection to the server, which is, I'm sure the game's just too polite to say that you got kicked out of a game. But I couldn't find people who were on a level pegging to me, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, I don't know. It felt like work, to be honest, because it's something that I just fundamentally do not understand. But I can appreciate the appeal, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Diablo, what is it? It's another language. It's a game in another language on consoles that's supposed to be on PC. I don't play PC games, and this is a console port that feels like a PC game. I don't know. I don't know.
Stick to XPleague.
Yeah, I think I might. It was interesting. I mean, I can. There's things to like about. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel the dog.
All right, well, okay, that's it. That's us done. Thank you very much for listening, as usual. Please feel free to check us out on Twitter at Chet Roivers, at John Dedson, at Chet and Johns, and YouTube. Chet and John is the YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. No point.
Don't bother.
Next week, I'm sure we're going to be all about Grand Theft Auto and some other stuff. Zelda, maybe. Pro Evolution, I imagine as well.
Indeed.
But yes, thank you very much for listening, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, peace out.
Motherfucker! That mute asshole, that fucking snake without a tongue, gave me this shithole instead of a pink slip. I must be the biggest fucking idiot in the whole fucking world.
But
Right.
even when I was in her town, there was no mention of her as a character, or like go and see the mayor, or like there was an opportunity to write a letter to her, or I could write a letter from her account to mine, and it never got to live. I don't know. It's way too. It's not for me.
Yeah, I kind of don't think it's for me either, really. But I'm glad I tried it, and I might get back to it one day.
Maybe I will as well. Hey, who knows?
Yeah. All right. My number 9 is a game I just played briefly just before I went off on holiday, which is where I wasn't on the podcast last week. And why my list this week is a lot of handheld games, as we'll find out. Anyway, my number 9 isn't a handheld game. It's Rock Band Blitz. I've just played it very briefly. I like to do a few songs every week, as we do. I normally don't talk about it, but this one, I started doing one song. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I got about halfway through it and I looked at the little bar on the right and I was ahead of your score. And that never, ever happens. I'm normally miles behind your score. Even though I get 5 gold stars on a lot of tracks, and I think I'm pretty good, I'm normally always behind your score. But this time, I was ahead. And I had to pause it because my boy was kicking off. And then that all happened. And then he did a shit. And then we had to go. And I was just like, I was genuinely gutted because I thought I will never know. I will never know if I was going to beat your score. So I'm going to try again, probably tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what the song is because it's probably one that you've not actually got a very good score on. You'll just go back and get some completely untouchable score that I'll never be able to get near. But yeah, the dream just hung tantalisingly in the balance for a minute and then was yanked away from me by Excrement.
Man, that must be some terrible song from Rock Band 2 or something that I've played once and never went back to because, without taking the piss. I don't know what song you'd... Okay, well, please.
From full of shit to full of shit.
By all means, please. Nothing would make me happier than to have another score to try and beat.
Yeah, you sound like the bad guy in an 80s film.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't want to speak about Rock Band Blitz, but I will very briefly in a bit. Okay, well, my number 8 is a game called Contract: Void Justice on the Xbox 360. It's an XSplit game, yeah. It has an absolutely fantastic opening. It's all sort of it looks like it's hand painted in acrylics, and it's like the start of an 80s sci-fi movie. You're this hooded bounty hunter. You come in on a spaceship, and it comes down, and you've got this guy in your company. You're basically a bounty hunter, and you've got this prisoner. You're delivering him to prison. And hilariously, there's a tannoy announcement going, "This prisoner is proud of its record of never having anyone escape from it."
But from what I gathered, it was a shooter where time only moves when you move. Yeah. So you shoot a guy and you have to move to make the bullet move towards them, or they shoot you, and you can kind of move out of the way of the bullet. And as you move, time moves, and it was all really stylish. And I thought, this is cool, and I want to go back to it, and I forgot. So, yeah. I'm sure you'll talk about it later. I don't have anything more to say. I'm the worst. Okay,
well, I'll only touch upon it briefly, but yeah, I'll speak about it in a minute.
Right.
Okay, well, my number 9 is Animal Crossing New Leaf on the Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, you went back to it. I heard you talk about it with Dave last week.
Yeah, I still don't understand it. I admire it and I appreciate I appreciate it. I don't really understand it as a game. I think it tends to polarise people more so than anything else I can think of, because there are some people for whom it's just like, I don't get this. I logged in as my girlfriend on her account because it was the same 3DS. We were sharing the same city, and she was the mayor and I wasn't. I logged in as her, and my house was there, but there was no mention of me being there. I went and spoke to people, and they didn't know why. There was no mention of me at all. So I just thought, that's a bit wank. At that moment, my girlfriend came in, and I said, "Oh, you've got a fishing rod and a spade. What's all that stuff for?" And she was just like, "It's boring. Don't bother." I was like, "Oh." Okay. Does it adapt to local weather? Because when she came in, she was soaking wet and like it was raining in the game, and I was like, "Is that a coincidence, or does it actually?"
I have no idea.
Okay, that would be cool. I like the way there was some sign I saw like, "Come here at 7:00 on the dot for some fireworks," and I was like, "Oh, that's quite nice. Make arrangements to go and look at fireworks." I suppose I don't understand the game. I really don't. It's charming as can be, but don't understand it.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on it. I've still got it sitting on my 3DS. I haven't gone back to it. I enjoyed everything that I played. I didn't really understand it myself, but I just liked it when people moved into my town, the weird animals with weird names, and then you just go and talk to them and they say weird things. That kept me entertained for quite a long time. I hear people talking about the price of turnips and bells, and they need to up their economy. I know I'll never get that involved because there's a part of my brain which tells me off whenever I start getting involved in something that pointless. But that's not to say that they shouldn't. I'm glad that they're enjoying it. But yeah, I just found it charming. But I think you've come into it in a weird way as well, going into someone else's world, not as the mayor, whereas I've done it sort of as intended, I think.
But the thing is, they never said. I mean, because I only know that you're supposed to be the mayor because you've told me, other people have told me. Lights go out, and the guards that are waiting to receive the prisoner, bang, 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 and then he's dead, and then your hooded bounty hunter whips out a samurai sword and a gun, and then you're off. And I was just like, you had me at hello. This is a fucking great way to open a game. Unfortunately, it's a top-down gauntlet-style shooter with a little bit of loot. And it just feels a little bit half-baked. There's not many enemies on screen. You're kind of traipsing around the most bland world in the world. It's all very grey and dull, and the outlines are like that yellow ticker tape. It looks like they've taken pre-made assets and built the game with that.
Right.
For some reason, everybody takes an age to kill. I mean, like, you're just firing bullets at it for like up to 10, 15 seconds, and then go and do it again, and then go and do it again. Whenever anything potentially interesting happens, I mean, there's this weird obsession with numbers. Like, this prison's on loads of floors, and each floor has a statistic about how many guards to prisoners there are. Like 21% guards, and then sort of 79% prisoners. But the guards attack you as well, and I think you're supposed to kill both. It's not very well explained. There's a great ambient soundtrack, which is really nice. But it's just monotonous, repetitive, dull. The most interesting thing that happened to me is that I realised you meet this guy who's just standing in the middle of a room who can sell you stuff, guns and upgrades or whatever. You can try and shoot him, and then he'll shoot you back, and he normally wins. So that's exciting, I suppose. It's a shame. It starts so well that it's just another game that I've played 3,000 of on the XBlig service. It's a shame. It's really thought it was going to be great, and it's just another game I've played before.
That's a shame because that does sound. It sounded quite good from the beginning. It sounded like a mix between the beginning of that first Riddick game and then, or if there was only one Riddick game, there was I don't know.
There was two.
And yeah, there was two, and some like 1992 scrolling platform game.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish these XBig developers weren't so eager for everything to be the top-down or first-person. There's so many more interesting things to do, and they're not doing them at the moment. Yeah, and with games like that, the competition's so stiff. There are genuinely great XBig games that are top-down sort of gauntlet stuff. This one doesn't even have 4-player co-op. It's only 2-player local, but shame. Yeah, could have been great.
What was it called again?
Contract Void Justice.
Okay, you could tell me that a million times. I'd never remember it.
I know.
Okay, my number 8 is Gravity Rush on PlayStation Vita. Holiday PlayStation Vita. You can see where this list is going. I just thought, okay, I'll give it one more chance, and I just don't really dig it, man.
Stop being so disturbingly sexualized.
Hello, welcome to episode 79 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton. With me, as always, Chet Roivas.
Ahoy!
So you know the deal. You surely know the deal by now. 2 top 10 lists going from 10 to 1. 10 being the game we played the least this week. 1 being the game we played the most. That's right, innit? Yep. Chet, let's do this thing.
Okay. All right, okay. My number 10 is SingStar on the PlayStation 3.
Poor thing.
Yeah, I didn't play the actual game. I'm pretty sure I heard it on Joypod, that it was hilarious to just go onto SingStar, the one that's now on every PS3 dashboard, and watch the community videos. I watched quite a few of them, and none of them were amusing. It's just people, very, very low-res videos of people playing SingStar in their living rooms. There was one, the most highly rated clip was the most interesting, but it was rubbish. It was 25 seconds of a guy singing a song on SingStar. In the background, his child, a small baby of a toddler, I'd say, was crawling around the back, along the back of the sofa, completely oblivious to him. And as he was walking, I was like, "Oh, this must be really highly rated because that baby falls down." I was watching it, like the suspense, and I swear to God, it was like the end of Inception. There was a little bit of a wobble, and then it ended. That was it, done.
Oh, no.
I was gutted, but honestly, I'd had that recommended to me as just a thing to do, going on there and look at the community videos. I don't recommend it.
All right, I'd never thought of doing it, and I never will do it. You didn't sing?
I don't have a microphone anymore, no.
Ah,
Otherwise, I would have done. I'd been right in there.
Yeah, too right. My number 10 is a game called Super Hot, which I meant to play more of and then completely forgot because I'm the worst person. So this, I'm pretty sure it's called Super Hot. It's definitely called Super Hot.
Yeah.
This is a free game. Oh, have you played this?
Yeah, it's on my list, yeah.
All right. So I'll go through it quickly. It's a free game, browser-based shooter, basically, done in really kind of stark graphic style. Everything's really white, and the point of it, I only played a little bit of it and I thought, right, I'm going to go back to that, and then I completely forgot, and I didn't have enough time. Anyway, you'll probably be better at explaining it than me. And it's a game that just never really worked for me. I know it did really well in some of the reviews, and I can't really judge it properly because I haven't played it enough still, even though I've tried it about 5 different times and probably only about 3 hours in. And yeah, going back to it, it's kind of a really confusing and disorientating game at the best of times, because obviously you can't really manipulate gravity, but you can kind of detach yourself from gravity and then fire yourself at different parts of the environment and end up like on walls or on the ceiling and stuff like that. And it's all very cool. The art style's cool. There has this cool like graphic panels, like graphic novel panels between the levels, which you can move by like tilting the Vita and touching the rear touchpad and stuff, and everything about it's really stylish, but it's just not good enough for me to grab me. The fundamental mechanic of like detaching yourself from gravity doesn't do enough for me, and I'm prone to kind of disorientation at the best of times, having no sense of direction and dizziness, so it doesn't really gel with me in that way. And as I'll talk about later, it just kind of, I thought the Vita was going to be all about games like this, not necessarily weird gravity-based games, but, you know, like console games.
Yeah.
But as I'll talk about later, the whole machine seems to have changed. But yeah, Gravity Rush, I ended up deleting it from my memory card because I didn't have enough space. And I feel bad because, you know, it's clearly a project that's been made with a hell of a lot of love. It's very polished. I can see it's a good game, and I'm not in a position to really criticise it because I haven't played it enough. It's just simply not grabbed me, and there's so little time. Yeah.
That's fair enough. I know almost nothing about Gravity Rush, but isn't it really highly regarded as?
Yeah, I mean, it got a 9 on Eurogamer. It's got good review scores all over the place. Like I said, I'm not really in a position to even disagree with that stuff. If you don't know what it is, you play as a girl. I've forgotten her name because I started the game months ago and I couldn't remember it from playing it this little session this time. Who finds out, or already had the ability, like I say, to basically sort of float up in the air and then aim at something else and then fire herself at that. She has a cat, and stuff happens in the game. Like, I can't fucking remember. But everything about it is just really likeable. It's well written in that it doesn't have a lot of words to it, but everything's kind of snappy and well written. As that way seems to be the trend for Japanese games being